but fear. I made fear my bitch.
Ooh,
And every time
yes.
I saw fear, I just kept opening up the door.
Hello, beautiful beings. Welcome, welcome. I'm Lena Franklin, modern medicine woman, transpersonal psychotherapist, and founder of the East Institute. Welcome to Medicine Wisdom, a radio talk show that will teach you that to journey inward is your highest calling, that you have the power to heal yourself. Your power and purpose exists within your medicine. Your medicine is the gift your soul came here to share with the world. And today we are dropping in with an incredible human that I have so much love and respect for. Melissa Ruiz, quantum and soulful business queen. She's a visionary. I truly feel that she is here to continue to move the masses through her teachings around how to cultivate a soulful business, about what currency truly is. And today we are dropping in to talk about new earth abundance. Sister, I'm so grateful you're here with us.
Oh, thank you for having me. And this just feels like the cherry on top after going to the East Institute and chatting there and just spending time with you and your tribe and all the beautiful beings that you are also impacting. And to now continue to bring the conversation here on another forum, it just feels so sweet. Thank you for having me. I'm
Oh,
so excited. Let's get into it
let's get
because
into it.
it's
Yes.
gonna be good.
It's going to be good. I love you say it's going to be juicy.
Yes, it's going to be juicy. It's going to
Yeah.
be everything it needs to be. And it's going to
Mhm.
continue to take the thoughts and the conversations that we're all having, and it's going to bring it to the light, and it's going to continue to expand through us because that's what we're doing when we're bringing these conversations into a room, into the radio, into a podcast. We're just taking the thought beyond it. So it's not this like scary thing, ooh, money. Let's not talk about it. And it's like, no, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about
Let's
it.
talk about
Yes. Yeah. So Melissa was with us here at the East Institute a handful of weeks ago, and she did an incredible talk for our Sacred Feminine Council of Light. And I truly feel like, now is the time we're being called to the forefront, sacred feminine leaders to really cultivate this new earth. And that's what this episode is all about. New earth abundance. And I want to dive right in, Melissa, because your journey, your story in itself is such potent medicine. Tell us, share with all of us how you really embarked on your awakening, how you moved. I know you were MTV producer. Now you're this incredible spiritual teacher and visionary. What was your path? What did that look like?
Yeah, my path was a lot of initiations, as so many people, right? I think we all just get to that moment where it felt for me like I was fighting for my life. And I see that the more of these beautiful beings that continue to walk this path of new earth leadership and of teaching, tune into their stories. It's not always, oh, I woke up like this. It's always like, holy crap, like I thought this was the end, and it forces you it in yoga we call this the maya, right? Like that illusion starts to fade, or I know in shamanism it's the veil, right, between two worlds. You actually get a sneak peek of that. You get a sneak peek of all of the stories that you've been holding on to and how they've kept you in a certain vibration. And so my background really came from having to work hard my entire life, being and coming out publicly gay when I was just a young girl. I was 13. And so right then and there, I had to fight, right? Like I had to fight to ask myself, who am I? Like, what does this mean? And I had to
Right.
get comfortable and embody what I was moving through. And then being the daughter of immigrant parents, who struggled. They struggled financially. They struggled with their mental health. They struggled in a lot of departments. And so I got a front row seat at what it looks like when we're in lack. And I think oftentimes people automatically assume that the lack is the money. And this is why I love to talk about money, and why New Earth Abundance and the book that I'm writing right now is going to impact people in a different way, because it's really going to force us to remember what is wealth. What
Mm-hmm.
is abundance? What
Mm-hmm.
does it really mean to be well spiritually, mentally, and emotionally? And what does it really mean to be soul rich? And I had a lot of years moving through this poverty mindset. And so when people come to me, and I love when they do, and they say, Melissa, I really understand what you're saying, but when I look at my bank account, there's $2. I love this conversation. It's not one that I shy away from. Like, I actually lean in, because I'm like, I was there. Like,
Yes.
I know what it is to not have. And there are bigger questions that we can bring to the table, like, what do we get to do from here? How
Mm-hmm.
did we end up in this situation? And what do we have the power to change now? It's
Mm-hmm.
remember that we're the victor always and never the victim, that no matter what happens in our life, we can see it with our physical senses. But my question always to people is to remember, can you believe in a world that's outside of the physicality of what you see as well? Can we
Mm.
remember our cosmic connection to the divine? Can we remember we're creators and we're here to create and not to suffer? We don't need to grab scraps in life. It is a shift in our mindset, and most importantly, in our internal world. New Earth Abundance, you know, this is not something that I made up. This is something that's here. And the reason why it's here is because Earth continues to call us forward. Lena, I love the intro, right? That you said, like, your medicine is your wisdom. And that is the thing that you share here. And it's
Mm-hmm.
so true. New Earth Abundance is requiring us to level up in frequency. It's requiring us to get out of these material things that we put value on. And it's about the remembrance of the inward journey. It's about remembering that the treasures are within. And as the earth continues to raise consciousness through expanding through us, I believe this is not just us saying, let's be rich, let's be abundant just for the sake of it. No, this is actually a really important time, because we are changing timelines right now. We are
Yes.
changing the ability for our kids to not be so stuck on this paper money that people put so much value on, or all of the other things that we do too, our white picket fence, and our material things. These are all amazing things, and we shouldn't not have them. But if that's the only reason why we're getting things to feel good and change the inside, that's when we have the problem. New Earth Abundance is about remembering that our abundance lives truly within ourselves, and
Mm.
that by the time money manifests, it's already old. I call
Yes.
this old news. I call this, it's like reading an old newspaper. It's about us understanding the energetic frequency and the intention that had to cook up together in order to make it. So when we're not seeing things in our physicality, it's always a call for us to go back within and say, okay, how is this manifesting? What vibration am I sitting in that is causing this or not causing this? And that, I know, is a very touchy and sometimes difficult conversations to have. But money is no exception.
No.
Money is no exception. When things show up in your life, when your partner leaves, when the job tells you you're fired, whatever, life is happening with us, and it's expanding through us. It's always for us. And I know, I recently went through a moment where it rocked my world. Many moments. The
Mm-hmm.
first moment, moving through a divorce, having this poverty mindset, honestly, sharing really vulnerably, feeling like I was too late to the game,
Mm-hmm.
felt like I was too old. And I'm like, I'm not old. But in my mind, I was like, I'm too old. Give up now. What are you going to do? Who will you be after this TV producing thing that you just spent 13 years? And it was such a beautiful cry from my inner being to remind me, baby girl, you're so much more than that. You're
Yeah.
so much more than these titles. You're so much more than what somebody can pay you. This is not who you are. This is not the truth. This is not the the wholeness of who you are. And so money oftentimes brings us to that conversation.
Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes to everything that you're sharing. I want to really touch on because I think I remember even in my own journey, you talked about those moments where you may have, $2 in your bank account and you're in the all encompassing, the density of that survival, that poverty mindset and consciousness in the scarcity. And that
Yeah.
is the path. I was just talking about this yesterday with a beautiful group we were doing some healing work with. Fear is it's like lean into that resistance, that fear. That's an access point into your deeper and more expansive awakening, because we have to clear that out of our channel. We have to clear it out of our body, our soul, in order to continue to be a clear channel for the abundance that is our true nature. So for those tuning in that perhaps are in that place of fear around money, fear around survival, around that foundation, how would you guide them into alchemizing that inner landscape in a way where they can begin to set themselves on that aligned path to cultivate physical abundance through money, through whatever it is they desire in their 3D earthly life?
This is a beautiful question. It's twofold. The first thing, I come at this from a very athletic mindset, actually, because I've been an athlete since I was 4 years old. And so
Me too. Yeah.
I love it. And when you do that, you already know this is why you're into manifesting, you know about visualizing, because we're trained as athletes to see the goal, to see ourselves winning way before the event actually happens. So I
Yes.
learned to be a magician, honestly, of life from a long time ago. And so I apply these simple techniques of looking at all of the bodies. Because again, like I was sharing with you, whenever we want to manifest something in the material plane, meaning you want something to sculpt out of thin air, no, out of energy and intention. So I look at all the bodies. So we go through your emotional body, we go through your spiritual body, we go through your mental body, and I start working and chipping away at those bodies as if I was an athlete. And so I put myself through a regimen. There was one year, and this taught me everything that I needed to know about money. Middle of a divorce, spending lots of money, handling that, fighting over homes, financials, properties, released this job where it was a sense of security for me, moved into a tiny home. So everything got small. I had to release a lot of things. Now I'm in an even smaller place because now I'm living in a van, which is only 70 square feet. At the time, that was 480 square feet. And the question that came and landed during this time, which by the way, this was a year of no income and just teaching yoga for $50, teaching yoga for $10, donation. But the question was, can you still find your joy throughout this time? That was really the question that landed, and God, source, spirit continuously kept bringing me to my knees to that question. Are you going to allow where you are now to dictate where you're going? Your story is not the end. There's still so much more that is unfolding. How do you find the practice of santosha, which in yoga we call contentment? How can you stand in your satisfaction for life? Because you have air and you have the elements and you have, this is going to land for somebody, you have God's source universe inside of you, and you're never alone. You never walk alone, no matter where you are. And so when things get stripped from you, that's what we get to the heart of the vulnerability. We get to the heart of abandonment. We get to the heart of unwanted. We get to the heart of needing to be seen. We get to the heart of whatever it is that our soul came here to continue to unravel and to continue to work through. And so during that time, I amped up my yoga practice. I practice every single day. I started meditating every single day. It's been 6 years now. I started to eat high vibrational food. So I put myself on a somewhat of a strict diet. I started to tune out any toxic people. tune out any toxic thoughts. It starts with the simple things. It starts with paying attention to the music that I was allowing myself to tune into. It was allowing myself to exit a conversation that started to move into the gossip realm. When you start taking care of all of those bodies, you'll start to realize that you will touch that place of peace. You start to touch that place of abundance. You start to touch that place of, wow, I'm my own mother, I'm my own lover, I'm my own father, I'm my own healer. You start to create this internal world within ourselves where it is home. People think the earth is home and we live among her. We love you so much. It's so good to be planted on the earth and to be with the elements. But home is inside of us. And wherever we go, it's not in our jobs and it's not in the money and it's not in the things that we have in our bank account. And so that was really the journey, and something that I really want to share with folks, that if you're in this position, the goal is not to fall, into sadness or victimhood into your situation, but it's to remind yourself that you're also made of the cosmos. It's to remind yourself that you are the creator. And if for whatever reason you are standing in a creation that isn't desirable for you, you have to honor it. So many things have happened in my life that were so unfortunate. And I had those moments where, hands to my heart, I'm like, okay, I see you. I get it. Universe, I got the lesson. I'm learning. I'm not going to be here again. I'm not going to do this again. I see how I did this. I see how I let this person do X, Y, and Z. I see the vibration within me that attracted this situation. I see it. Thank you. Thank you for showing me. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you. I'm uncomfortable. I know. But fear, I made fear my bitch.
Ooh,
And every time
yes.
I saw fear, I just kept opening up the door. See, so many people run away. But for me, I love that you talked about fear. Fear has been my biggest teacher.
Yes.
Every time I'm afraid, I actually was saying this in the mastermind retreat. It was a slogan that we came up with, but it was, when I feel fear, that means go. It doesn't mean turn away. It means go. It means lean in. It means get curious. It means that there's something there that is causing pressure. And so every time fear came knocking, I came and I opened the door. What do you want? How can I help you? What is it that you need? And it was the realization, oh, wow, what is it that you're really afraid of? What are you actually trying to control? And when I stopped controlling, you see, people think this is about money, but this is not about money. This is about a false fire of security. That's
That's
what
right.
money represents for people. And that's why they get what I was sharing off air, their panties in a bunch.
Yes.
We get
That's right.
so yeah, we get so entangled because the truth is that yes, of course, it would be ridiculous for us to not um touch upon the fact that so many have used it in wrongful, hurtful ways. Among everything on this entire planet, love is a beautiful energy. Yes, some people use it in a very ugly, disgusting, manipulating way. Everything has the equal counterpart. It doesn't make the thing bad. It doesn't make love bad. It doesn't make money bad. It doesn't make anything bad. In the quantum realm, there is nothing as bad. There's only positive and negative. And even the negative doesn't mean anything bad. We
Yes.
have to have contrast.
Mhm.
I'll share this little story with you. I was on a boat the other day and I just wanted to rent a boat because my business has given me the opportunity and the luxury to lay in a boat. And I had the idea and I was like, who would I go with? And I was like, let's invite all my friends. And at one point I was about to send the messages and then I said, no, this is for me.
Mm.
And so I just went with one friend and I laid there. And there was a moment where somebody said, wouldn't it be so cool if you ran and you put your foot on the railing? It was like a 3.5 foot railing and you jumped off. And I was like, I can't do that. But I kept entertaining it and it scared me. And I was like, okay, let's do it. I went back and forth And I couldn't do it. I was terrified. I was like, oh my God, this is scary. There's a shark, there's a jellyfish, there's something out to get me. And in that moment, I turned and I looked at my friend and I said, I feel fear. And she was like, yeah, well, then don't do it. And I said, no, now I'm going to do it even more.
Mhm.
So I did. It took me one or two
Oh.
more tries. And so that's what it's about. It's about just jumping off the edge and really seeing, is there a shark down there or is it in your mind? Is there really a jellyfish down there or is it just fear? And just being more curious about it.
Mm, I love that story so much. It's such a potent metaphor for our life, right? Are you willing to jump despite the fear? Are you willing to allow fear to be your greatest teacher? And you said like that underpinning of all that you've shared is such a paradigm shift. It's our perception that needs to change around how we relate to fear. And can we continue to lean in to that density to ask curiously? I think the energy of curiosity is such important medicine as we're continuing to heal, expand, and transform. Holding that open, curious heart and asking what fear wants. And actually, what is the illusion that fear is attempting to spin to keep you in the illusion of safety? It's an
Yeah.
illusion of safety, right?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Nail on the head.
Yeah.
This is um, how life continues to call us forward into ourselves with highlighting and bringing to the light all of the different illusions and things that make us feel that we're not safe. And we are. And I think right now with new earth leadership, new earth currency, new earth abundance, new earth beings, it's all requiring us to shift and change the way we relate, the way we relate to ourselves, the way we relate to money, the way we relate to leadership. All of those things are being now pulled into the forefront. And so it's going to be a conversation that is going to stir a lot of energy from everyone because it's traditionally one where we have entered into these systems where we've seen one person that's the leader and we've been primed to be these good little minions and
Right.
robots and soldiers to listen. And so whenever anybody unplugs from that, it causes a lot of rift, and money is no stranger to that. And I think and I know that so many beings right now in the next 3 to 5 years you're going to see more beings that are stepping forward into their abundance activations, and we're going to see that they're not only wealthy in love, in friendship, in their business, but that they're also healers. We're now
Yes.
holding and straddling this energy that you don't have to be this powering person with the money and not a husband or a partner because you're too powerful, and that's just the energy of money. Too bad, too sad. That's the price you pay. Those are the words around money. Oh, well, she's just a bitch, or she's just somebody that's not connected to themselves. Right now, in the next 3 to 5 years, what I have seen so far is so many beautiful people like yourself and other beings that are showing up in their leadership, in their healing, in their wealth from the inside out. And people are going to see, holy crap, this is really beautiful. This person is walking the walk. They're
Yeah.
being a testimony to the work of prosperity and
Mhm.
livelihood, that we can feel good from the inside out and that we don't have to live in survival. We don't have to be there. No matter what you have in your bank account, you have an opportunity to continue to connect to your breath and connect to the vitality of your breath, the chi energy that courses through your body. This is the thing. I think when people oftentimes use this example, well, what do I do? Somebody answered me on TikTok and they said the same thing. What do I do? This is nice, but what do I do when I only have blank, blank, blank?
Mhm.
And we got to get out of that. Yes, look at it. I'm not telling you to bypass it, but I'm asking you to go beyond that. I'm asking you to connect back to the energy of being grateful for your life, because everything starts from there. When you're already in that heated energy, you can't go anywhere from there. You got to start from recognizing that this is calling you to be grateful for what you have now, and from there you move up the emotional ladder of continuously expanding. But I wasn't able to attract wealth sitting in my entitlement.
Mhm.
I will tell you first, I was the first person that when I started moving through all of this energy, I was like, why me? Why is this happening? I, out of all people, should have it. I've been a good student. I've gone to college. I've been a good daughter. But you see, you quickly realize that those rules don't apply. It's
Mhm.
not about you being a good daughter or getting your certificates. It's about you loving yourself fully and wholly and completely without needing these things. It's like when people say, you know, I want to be in a relationship. I want to be in love. And yet they still can't love themselves in
Yes.
a beautiful way, right? And so everything is starting from the inside out.
Which is such a key component to this new earth creation, to the rejuvenation and shifting from those hyper masculine, very externally egoic driven systems that are we see in our 3D world every day. It's that inner journey. And so as you've really stepped into this work, Melissa, and you've been with your own alchemizing process, what does that shift look like and feel like for you as you're turning inward and really embracing, taking responsibility for that inner space of gratitude, that inner space of abundance that is so your true nature within?
You know, one thing that comes to mind, because I was healing a lot of it. This is a healing journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I was healing a lot of generational things within my own family. And everything came ahead when I had to realize that I'm going to be the one. I'm going to be the one to change the narrative. I'm going to be the one that is going to make different decisions. I'm going to be the one that, yes, I see the suffering and I see the trauma and I see all of it, but I'm going to be the one to alchemize it. I'm going to be the one to release it. I'm going to be the one to activate love. And so it was just getting really clear what almost my job became. My job became my work, and my work was my soul work. It was me realizing that it had to be like this. And that's another thing, it's hard to take a lot of this seriously because when you're in it, it feels like life or death. But
Right. Well, your ego
yet,
is literally dying.
literally dying and
Literally. Yes.
literally dying and holding on. But when you actually release and surrender, because this is what we're practicing, underneath all of this is the practice of release, the practice of non attachment, and the practice of not controlling. And when you finally make peace with it is the way it is, what option do I have now? What next? Then you'll start to realize that this thing no longer has control over you. And from that place, you have the opportunity to create a new narrative, a new energy for you to thrive and live in. And so for me, that was the biggest shift in my life that was happening at that time. I just had to be the one because I wanted and because I deserved it. And
Right.
like I said, it's a self-love journey.
Self-love journey. It's a healing journey. And two of the points I really want to highlight for people tuning in is a sense of ownership and responsibility. Really
Ooh.
choosing that this is your job. Your job is to heal your soul so you heal your ancestors, so you heal the planet, so you heal humanity. That's why our souls came here and chose to incarnate in this form. And I really want to get granular and into the beauty and the juiciness of that ownership and responsibility because for those people tuning in, it's like allowing them to have a roadmap and those portable practices that they can take back with them. So you're not going to want to miss the rest of the show. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back with Melissa, we're going to dive into the truth about New Earth abundance and what that means for your own life. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Medicine Wisdom. I'm here with my incredible soul sister, Melissa Ruiz. We're diving into the beauty, the power, the expansion of New Earth abundance. And we were really talking about, what it means to take responsibility and ownership, to shift inward, and to do the deep soul work it takes to actually embody the resonance, the vibration of abundance and what that truly means. So, Melissa, I know you work with so many incredible entrepreneurs doing this work with them. When they come to you and you're really diving into the path of what this work means authentically, what are some of those like initial questions or practices or teachings that you share with them when someone's coming in maybe with fear or scarcity mindset?
Yeah. The first thing that I teach them is what money is not.
Yes.
And
So let's dive into that because I think
yeah,
debunking the myths is so important.
yeah. And I think people think that money is this thing that you have to work hard for. They believe that currency is this thing that is outside of them. They are believing that money is this paper that's in the bank. And while some of that can be true, I like to bring them towards the energetic frequency of money. Because this is the thing, New Earth Abundance, it's getting us out of the material and it's forcing us to go into our internal landscape. We're all doing this across every single board, on every single niche or level or everything. Our relationships are being upgraded. Our money consciousness is being upgraded. The planet's being upgraded. The jobs are being upgraded, everything. And so we have to have these conversations. They're so important. And so I start right there. And they go, I know, but I don't have it and I need to make it. And so right there, I try to shift the energy off of look at what you're doing to money. If money is the frequency and it's a relationship, how do you feel in this moment? Let's write a letter to money. And the first thing they do is, money, you disappoint me. Money, you're never enough. Money, there's not enough of you. You keep manipulating me to. And so then you get into the heart of, no, this thing is not doing anything to you. We're doing this to ourselves. Now let's keep going a little deeper. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we in this hamster wheel? Why are we working this hard? You see, I used to blame it on money. I used to be like, I have to work hard for money. You got to work for what you get. And then I realized, no, that was my own poverty consciousness. I adopted that. And so just going back and realizing, okay, where did I learn this behavior? I learned this behavior because I did grow up with parents who were in that energy of scarcity. And so I adopted that energy. And so it was so automatic for me to feel normal working hard. It was so easy for me to work 10 hours as a TV producer, 14 hours, or even wake up the next day. And it was almost like an accomplishment. I was like, look at me. Look at how
Mhm.
important I am that I slept in the studio just to be booked and busy. And so we have to start to debunk this efforting of money. You don't need effort to create physical money. What you need to tap into is your prosperity code. What you need to really tap into is realizing that we're talking about the energy of abundance. And the energy of abundance, and just think about the earth, it's always giving. And so you can't walk around thinking, oh, I'm going to, take up all the air on the earth and there's not going to be any air left for anybody. Nobody ever walks around like that. You just assume that the earth continues to produce more air for all of us to breathe. And that's abundance in itself. Yesterday I went to go see my sister in Naples. She's here in Florida. And I was walking and I just stopped right then and there. There was a red cardinal that came to me. And I was like, oh, I just love seeing the red cardinal. I only see them when I'm hiking. And the other day I was having this thought of, man, there's not enough hikes and mountains here in Florida. And I know that that was a sign from the universe to connect me back to that feeling that I get when I'm in the forest and I see the blue jays and I see the red cardinal. And then I took two more steps and I saw another red cardinal. And so now there are two. And I could almost cry from how much joy I was feeling in that moment because it was just God's source universe speaking through us, that we're never alone, that we don't need to go into the forest to remember our potency and our magic and our love and our abundance and our prosperity. It was just such a clear sign to me because isn't it so interesting? I'm just being a human and I'm already complaining. I'm in a nice place, but we always find ways to complain. Oh, it's
Right.
so nice living in my van, but there's no mountains. It's just so human of us. And boom, the universe continues to realign and realign and realign us. And so yeah, that's the first thing that I really talk about is making sure that we understand what money is not. And it's not about working hard. It's really about us being in our divine feminine essence. It's
Mhm.
about us releasing control. It's about us examining what kind of relationship we have with this energy. And now I see money as and currency as this beautiful opportunity. I see it as thank yous, lots of thank yous. I see it as an opportunity to be present with somebody, share my magic, they share their magic. There is an exchange because we are honoring. That's what's happening to the energy of money. We're shifting this. I have to work hard. And now it is what an honor it is to exchange this with you. So beautiful, sister, here and then here. It's and so you bring honor to the exchange, which in essence forces us to bring honor to the act. So that we're no longer, I have to work for this bottle, I have to work for the money. But what did you do to work for that? What was the act that was exchanged? If you don't like the act, then yes, you're a slave to money. Ooh, there we go. Well, what
Yes.
if we switch? What if we start to shift the act and now all of a sudden the thing that you exchange is your livelihood and your dharma and the work and your medicine and the thing that you're supposed to be doing. Because you know what I noticed? I was on a coaching call the other day and I had this vulnerable moment. A lot of the students were sharing. It was such a healing moment, and they were crying. And I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but it happens to me a lot. And in that moment, I let a lot of tears out because I was so happy. I was moved. I'm moved by them. I'm moved by their growth. I'm moved how they're conquering fear. And I just kept thinking, I love these humans. They're expanding me in this moment, and they continue to expand me. It's not me showing up as the I know everything, listen to me, this is how you make money. It's that we're in this co-creative process. It's that you get to work on your vision and your dharma, and I get to teach you a little bit of the stuff that I already mastered because of my background and because I'm walking the walk. And in return, it's not even the currency that I value. It's this energy of expansion that I feel pulling me towards more of who I am, which is love.
Love.
It's
Love.
just love. And so I feel more love, and that you can't put a price to that. But yes, the abundance keeps coming in boatloads because when you're operating from that pure place, and you stop making it about needing a certain amount or it needing to look a certain way, that's where true freedom is. Money is not freedom. Let's keep talking about what money is not. And so that's why people are so attracted to money, because they think it's a way out, but the way out is in. You got to go in to go out. So when you focus on becoming this being with a lot of money and you realize, oh, I'm not happy still. I know that story because that was my story. I felt, this is really vulnerable. I don't think I've ever shared this. But ever since I was a little kid, I grew up in a really small town. It was about 47 blocks. And I remember I just felt like an alien. I remember even telling my own family, I don't belong here. I don't belong here. Why am I here? I want to do something amazing. And I spent since I was like 8 years old, all the way till I was like 16, until I graduated college, with this mindset of get me out of here. I want to do something amazing. I want to do something great with my life. I want to continue even from then. And so it's so interesting how my life has continued to evolve in this way of speaking, of challenging myself. And even then, when I didn't have it, I was forced to remember my true power is not in my sexuality. It's not in how people view me. It's not in the little town that I grew up that had a ton of violence. I know a lot of people that are incarcerated that I went to high school with. I know a lot of people who were murdered, gunned down, overdosed. And I was already from that age, my soul was already forcing me to look in, and it was forcing me to say, you're not your circumstance. And while this is happening and you can see it, you can taste it, you can um, feel it, it's not who you really are. These are just things that are happening, and it's contrast to force us to remember who we really are. We're all beings of love. And if we can continue to all do that work, if we can all continue to do the work of remembering who we really are, we will start to notice what we're not. And freedom in money is a no-go. That is the biggest illusion that, yes, the patriarchy and the systems that wanted to keep us in line, they wanted to keep us in check. They wanted us to be these robots and these minions because one person at the top was benefiting and all of these people were getting squashed. So nobody had the opportunity to share their gift, share their light, share their expertise. And so we were manipulated to think that money is going to give us freedom, that the more money you have, the more things that you can get. But that's not true, actually. You can barter with people, and I'm on the road. You'll be surprised at how many beautiful, kind people there are that want to share a bowl of food with you because you're just,
Yes.
and so it's about remembering that. Stop putting all this energy on money and start tuning back into the abundance within ourselves. And so I'm very
Beautiful.
passionate about, yeah, I'm very passionate about this work.
So it's so powerful. And again, I'm really sitting with all of the, the journeying that we just moved through with you. And there's something really powerful and important, potent around hierarchy, the illusion of hierarchy, and how we've been programmed to look at money and view money and perceive money as this false fire, this false God, this false sense of freedom. And in the falseness, in the illusion, when we move through it, we actually excavate the truth of energetic exchange, Aini, sacred reciprocity, as we call it from our indigenous shamanic lineage, Aini. And I love the way, like, I have this vision of just these beautiful, divine, energetic exchanges, whether it's food or time or attention or money. And they're all beautiful and equal when done with the energy of love. Right. And so,
Ah,
even in the way that you're living your life right now in the van life, Melissa, it's like you're returning to the ancient ways of our ancestors, that you're actually in the flow versus force, in the flow of sacred energetic exchange. And money is a part of that, but it is not the full spectrum because we privilege money to a point of that false God.
exactly. Oof, you nailed it. It's not the end all be all.
Mhm.
It's just a tool in 2023 that we're moving through. And if you actually pay attention, it's an important tool because
Yes.
money's a teacher. Money is
Yes.
teaching you.
Oh,
Money is teaching
yes.
you where you're attached. Money is teaching you with what you think about yourself. Money is teaching you that when you have $1 million, you feel you're hot shit, but when you only have $1, you feel like poop.
Right.
Money's teaching you. It's teaching you. It's teaching you what you feel about you.
Uh-huh.
It's teaching you. And so that's why it's so important that now, as new earth leaders, as more elevated, aware, conscious beings, that we continue to do this work of creating our own currency, creating our own plethora of wealth, however it is that you want to do it. You within your East Institute, anybody else that feels called to share their wisdom and their light. And don't be afraid. I'm going to share this. This is going to be a specific message for somebody who feels shame around charging. Do not feel ashamed about charging whatever it is that you desire, because only God source universe knows all the tests and all the lessons and all the spiritual takedowns and knockdowns that you had to go through, and initiations and fire. You think this is fine? I'm on the road. Life is teaching me. It's whooping my ass left and right, left and right, left and right. And I'm just getting back up like, okay, God, I'm here. I'm walking the walk. I'm teaching it. And now I'm walking the walk. And it's not easy sometimes. It's going to continue to call you into yourself. And only you know what number feels honoring to the work. That's what this
That's
is
right.
about. It's
That's
not
right.
about this I have to charge this and I have to charge that. It's just at a certain point things don't make sense.
Yes. It reminds me so much. And this is so interesting. And I'm just like, I'm soaking in this conversation so deeply. I feel it deep within my soul. In one of the ceremonies I was facilitating, as a medicine woman and as a healer and a teacher and a leader of the new earth, that was something that came through. Lakshmi came in and was like, you must, and I felt the endless, limitless generosity, rejuvenation, and recreation of Pachamama, Mother Earth, her consciousness, which is one of the main spirit energies that I work with, came in and said, we must liberate, like, move forward, do the work of helping to liberate a new wave of leaders and work with this energy of money. And
Oof.
and it was like the synchronistic interweaving of what it means to be in prosperity consciousness without striving, without effort, without that old paradigm of survival. It's in synchrony with the limitlessness and recreation of Pachamama, Mother Earth. And
Oof.
I know you teach that. And that memory in that ceremony just came back to me so strong.
That's so beautiful. That was one of my earlier initiations with money. Money looks for beings to continuously work through, and that was very similar to the energy of what happened to me in meditation. And so you're using these words like limitless, and I got the clarity that it wasn't a deserving thing. A lot of people get this confused. They say, but just charge whatever you want, you're deserving. It's like telling somebody, because people understand relationships more because they've been in them longer with partnerships. And so it's like saying, you deserve love. Go get the guy, go get the girl. But when you don't feel that, you don't feel that. And there's no amount of somebody telling you you're worthy, go get the money, you're worthy, go get the man. Nothing will happen. And in one of these meditations, I was like out of body, and it was so clear that it was this energy was and Lakshmi energy had been working with her for the past 7 years almost now. And it was so clear that the message was, you are this. And that was it. There was no explanation. It's just, you are this. You don't have to work to trick yourself to be abundant. You don't have to work to trick yourself into worthiness. You are this. What is this? You are abundance. What do you mean? You are prosperity. More information, please. You are love. That's it. You are that. You are that energy. And so by nature and default, because you are that, when you start to create union with that energy, you will emanate and emit that frequency in all areas of your life. And the work, because we must do the work in
Yes.
all areas of our life. And so maybe you could do it with your partner and you're good on that department. Maybe you're doing it in your soul path with your with the way you're showing up, and that's good job. And now maybe you have to do it in the financial department. We have to be able to have these conversations, these high vibrating conversations, and it doesn't have to have this negative charge of the judgment. What are we judging? That judgment is within you. What stories attached to that judgment? What are we making right? What are we making wrong? And so you just got to follow the energy. Just keep following the energy back to its origins, and you'll start to realize that that frequency is not love. When we're judging, we're not in love. We're not in that frequency of love. I always tell people we can be in business through the frequency of love. Everything is through that sacred exchange of honoring the other person in front of you, of seeing that person as a being. So when I get on calls, I'm not looking at my phone, I'm not typing away. I am fully present with that other being. I'm listening into what's present for them. How can I make this experience the best experience they've ever had without people pleasing, without bending myself into a pretzel that I'm breaking my boundaries? How do I honor my boundaries? And how do I remember that I am just that and that there's nothing that I have to do? There's nowhere I have to go. There's no amount of force that I have to prove to anybody that I am that. I just walk it. I walk it, I teach it, I breathe it. And by the example of that, people will start to feel it. Because this is what we're talking about. New Earth Abundance is requiring us to tune into the energy and the frequency within. So, how do we explain that without having that representation of the money, of the bill? Oh, now you got to go in. What do you mean? Now you got to use a different part of your brain. Now you got to go into more of that awareness. What do you mean vibration? Now it's getting your brain to think. What do you mean? So we're all vibration. Yeah, keep going. And so this is what's happening. Money is just a tool, and it's a tool to teach us to continue to go within ourselves.
Money is that portal to the journey inward. I'm so just vibrating so much over here, blown away. And
Yeah.
so in deep honor of your medicine, Melissa. Thank you for all that you are. Abundance is your birthright. For those
Yeah.
tuning, abundance is your birthright. We are here to change the paradigm, to cultivate this new earth together. So in the couple of minutes we have left, where can people connect with you? What are you offering? What are you sharing? What's at the forefront of your business and your heart right now?
Ooh, you can find me on Instagram. I'm always there hanging out in my DMs. I love to send voice notes. And so if you're into that type of thing, send me a voice note. I am Melissa Ruiz. I have different programs on my website. You can check them out. I am melissaruiz.com right now. We have our mastermind that's happening and starting, I believe, tomorrow. But yeah, we have all sorts of free programs as well as paid programs. And so, the last thing I want to share that's going to be really important for me to share is two things. Let's decolonize the way we're thinking about money. Okay. So that's really important. We have to be able to do this work outside of this conversation. Let's keep asking ourselves, what are we making money mean? How are we decolonizing this practice? And the last thing is to remember that abundance is free.
Yes.
Abundance is free. It's all around us. It's in the two birds that came to me. It's in the air that you breathe every day. It's in you opening your eyelids and waking up to a new day. It's in watching a sunrise and watching a sunset. We are being called to connect back to the elements. The elements are ancient beings that have been here with us since the beginning of time. And so if we can learn to connect with them, we'll learn that abundance is everywhere. And the illusion of the paper and the security and the doggy and the fence and the marriage and all of this stuff is going to call us back to remembering what true abundance really means to us.
Thank you so much, sister. I love you. Thank you to everyone tuned in to Medicine Wisdom, and catch us next week with Elissa Goodman. We'll be talking about the energetics of food as medicine. Remember, the world needs the medicine that you have.
Chills. So beautiful. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Medicine Wisdom. If this episode resonated with you, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. If you're interested in learning more about this week's guest, be sure to check out the show notes below for the links. And don't forget to follow me on both Instagram and TikTok at I am Lena Franklin. Join me every Wednesday on my YouTube channel for new episodes of Medicine Wisdom. Aho Munai.